Welcome back to another video. We skipped last Monday. I was at a conference, so here's y'all's favorite video where we go and critique every project that we're in right now. And it's been a wild roller coaster just today alone. Those bull run roller coaster, emotional roller coaster runs are back. Yeah, we back, baby. It's hilarious to watch Twitter and to watch the flip-flopping and the stuff by some of these real influencers, if that's the word you want to use, how they go from, depending on what the market's doing. I have a big TV in my office. I'll keep crypto bubbles on it. And when it's all green, it's funny. You see all these people on Twitter and X or whatever you want to call it and proclaiming how great everything is. All of a sudden, an hour later, you see a whole bunch of red bubbles. Yeah, and it changes that quick. Hey, can't go up. I tried telling everybody over and over, people going to take profits. Yeah, people buying Bitcoin when it went back down to 84, 85, 80,000, whatever it was. You're going to sip some profits. Alts went up some. Some went down a little bit. Some stayed the same. So, hey, it is what it is. So, we back. It's Monday. Please, before y'all do anything else, before y'all click off this video, please hit the like button for me. The more I keep reading with this new algorithm improvement they started a couple of days ago on YouTube, that helps so much. So please just do me a favor and hit that like button. So before we get too started on this, get too deep into it, just remember the usual spiel. Almost everything we're talking about today, I own those tokens. So I'm going to sell them whenever I'm ready to sell them. And let me tell you, I know y'all hear this every week from me. People make fun of me at this point, but times are very, very tight. I just made one of my tax payments for... I still can't understand how you take all this extra out all year long with taxes, and I still owe a couple of grand. Yeah, like I got it in my back pocket with everything else going on in life. No date on my surgery yet that I do need, so, I ain't got to pay that yet. That's a positive. So we got that going on. Also, don't forget about the new Discord that's above. There will be a link in the description area below on how to join that. It's been pretty active. Last night I was playing Call of Duty and streaming it in the Discord. A lot of announcements that from all of our projects hit that Discord. Also, some projects we have people who remind each other about, hey, don't forget to go and recharge your ERWIN project and just different things like that. And, always just, I'm going to say this again, I'm not DMing you. I got people every day telling me they're getting a DM from some scammer with a profile that looks just like mine, asking about, are you winning or losing in your trades? Do you need a bot for that and stuff like that? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not DMing you. If we're not friends that we're DMing already, I'm not DMing you out the blue without me in my channel saying, hey, I'm about to DM you. And then I might drop a DM, but that's going to be rare also. So just be careful of that. Nobody in our Discord is going to DM you asking you for anything, especially any kind of payments or anything like that. So don't listen to it. So what's the big news today? The bubbles, baby. The bubbles. We got some red here, but it was nice to see this morning, at least we were seeing green like this. This is the weekly chart and we're green. And this right here, if you're on my Twitter, my Discord, Facebook page, anything, you can't miss. Look, I'll take the W's when I can get the W's. So y'all remember this video that I did right here? I did this video. It's got 1,600 views on it. I'm hoping people didn't just watch this one. It is very rare. Y'all know I don't like doing price predictions at all, but I felt there was 5 tokens, relatively safe tokens that weren't these wild meme tokens or anything, tokens that had either some kind of project behind them, a blockchain behind them, or just a solid team, solid community behind them. That I kind of went on a limb here and said, you might get 5 to 20x profitability possibly. These were just tokens that, hey, if they get to all-time high or maybe a little over all-time high, you're looking at some big gains. WIF was one of them. Y'all know I cut my teeth on meme coins with WIF. like 2 years ago and called that at like 20 something cents, and it went to $4. And I said that I thought this was going to happen again. WIF was down to like 29 cents. And I told people this was one of Solana's biggest meme coins other than Bonk, but don't sleep on this. Not financial advice. You might want to look at it. You might want to jump on it. I bought some because it'd be stupid for me not to tell you how to buy some, even though I don't have a lot of capital, or I might have moved some junk coins around, different things like that. But I loaded up on a little more WIF also. And WIF was 29, 30 cents, 30 cents at the time. And before that price fall this morning, you had WIF at $1.32. That was a 300% increase from where it was when I told you to get it. So you're looking at between the 4x right there, or 5x from when I called it and told you to look into this. And again, I don't call those that often, so I'm gonna milk this one a little bit. So some other ones I called AVAX, where there's little green wickers up here, you would almost doubled your money. It's only been a month. And I know I'm excited. Again, I don't get to call these that often. I don't mess with them that much, but you can't ignore what Bitcoin's doing right now. You're looking at just May. Back in April, you were down to 83,000, 75,000. When I told people, when the fear is as low as it was time to jump into it. So, you were at 105,000. Is that a new all-time high? I think maybe it's close to it. In the video that I did a while back, I told y'all look at that fear and greed index, and this fear and greed index was at 27. I told y'all, blood in the street. You don't feel like buying. You think it's going to go lower, and you're like, you just don't. We all go through that. We all go through this area that's like, man, crypto sucks right now. Why would I be buying? And then you go to this, and that's what it is today in a month. And that's a lot of green to be buying right now. Just being honest. Not saying they're going to go up more in the future, but Grumpy's not buying. Grumpy can't afford nothing right now, but Grumpy's not buying anything at this point. And not on that high of a, you can't see because my screen's in the way, but you were at it. You see about 75 fear and greed. When that got that kind of green like that, you kind of want to back off a little bit. At least that's what they say. A lot of people talking about this right now. So one of the big things right now is Solana. Solana's having the drive again. It is going up pretty well also. So, don't sleep on Solana. Solana was up to about $182 when, again, the other day, when we did all the video, it was down to about $112. So it's going up. That bridges us right into our number one project, still, as usual, who has had a decent price increase. And when I looked at it earlier, it was doing very well. I was kind of fearful that somebody would get a little greedy, break the second law, and go sell. Let me tell you, I was tempted also. And like I said, it starts getting some positive price action. We start moving up, and snakes are going to snake. Cheaters are going to cheat. Hopefully they get kicked out the project. If you're selling this much, let me tell you, there's nobody more tempted to sell their entropy than I am right now. I keep telling y'all my sob story. I know y'all sick of hearing it. People making fun of me in certain discords that all I do is talk about how poor I am. You have no idea. A lot of my problems will go away by emptying my bags of entropy, and I'm not. I'm holding it. Doing it, trying to do what's better for the project. I don't understand it, but hey, it is what it is. I don't know what's going on in people's lives, but you're hurting yourself, you're hurting the project, you're hurting everybody when we could just hold on a little bit longer when it has this positive price action going on, and whatever. If I had the money to blow, I would be at this mixer. Wednesday night, there's a mixer next Wednesday at the Sunset Rooftop or something like that, Arlo, Williamsburg in New York. And you look at some of the people going, and it's going to be a pretty big deal. I said, I wish, you know, I don't know if I'd be let in with my age. I'm sure I'd be the oldest person there in the room, but I don't care. You know, I think hanging out with the Entropy crew would be a wild time. I don't think I could hang for sure. If they are 10% as wild as what they show in some of these X accounts and their Discord, I can't hang. There's a, you know, I'm gonna tell y'all, the office where I work at, we put a volleyball team together every year to play against 8th graders and seniors and stuff like that in the school. And I used to play, well, fun fact, I used to play competitive volleyball many years ago, before probably a lot of y'all were born. But it was very competitive, especially it was beach volleyball, which again was the best shape of my life, easily, in 110-degree summer beach volleyball leagues. And we played today, and I probably won't be able to get out of bed tomorrow. So that shows you how much I can't hang. But Fat Boy's got ups, and I think I surprised a lot of people. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. But Entropy right now, we're doing very well. Yeah, so we're up to about $11 a day right now with our awards, making somewhere between 130,000, 140,000 awards. Entropy a day. Like I said, with the price action, it's about $11. So it's doing very well. I can see that probably fluctuating. I know they try to keep it around the $10 range, so you could probably see rewards go down, different things like that. I know they got a little tax you got to pay when it comes out. You know, the biggest complaint, I'm not going to hide it, it's just because a lot of people talk about it, is you sell and you get out the project. Eventually, we go into this, or they're going to this NFT system that either if you sell and get kicked out the project, you can buy an NFT and start all over again. I have mixed feelings about that, but this ain't the time and the place for it. But right now, Entropy is clearly my #1 project at $11 a day. If you want in, you got to join their Discord. Some people are still getting in with digging holes. You know, it does have to be kind of extravagant and exciting to get into it, but it might be worth the effort, especially for $11 a day. You're putting on the ESP32 right now until they come out with their Ashlar miners. I see those, but I can see those Ashlars coming soon, and I'm definitely going to get one from Entropy so that I can show you all how it works, what it looks like, and you know, the insides and outs of it. I did buy several of their NFTs so that I can get started on that too. All right, next project #2, still holding that #2 spot, is going to be GeoDNet. Y'all know I'm very high on this project. It's just a good running project. I don't know how else to describe it. I wish I had better words for that, but it works. It's got a lot of customers on it. You can see that with all those bursts they got. Those are customers that they're trying to get that data to. And I'm very impressed with GeoDNet. The only announcement they've really had was they do have, actually, that'll be Thursday. They will have an AMA if people want to listen to that. And I've never really caught a GeoDNet AMA. I might try to, you know, depend on what's going on. This is a very crazy week. My son's graduating high school. A lot of stuff going on. I got a doctor's appointment for what's going on with me. And it's a very hectic week, but I'm going to try to capture this. And also tomorrow's a Wingbits AMA. I'm definitely going to try to capture that also if I can get a break from work. But Hifix has had an issue. That's who manufactures the GeoDNet hardware. Doesn't really matter where you purchase it from, but Hifix has had an issue, delay in project due to shortage of key components. I hope we don't start this again. This was COVID type stuff. I can't see how there's shortage of components anymore. But anyway, the next batch is expected to begin shipping next week. U.S. orders are largely caught up. International orders are still experiencing delays due to several factors. Limited inventory, blah, blah, blah. Y'all can read it yourself. They do have new super hex. So they have new super hexes in this batch. They've all been added. That was last week. So knowing that them super hexes go so fast, you probably missed out on those. That's if you want to get these super hexes, you need to get into this GeoDNet Discord. What I'm probably going to do is I'll add this channel, right? The new super hexes channel. I can add that to my Discord so that whenever they put an announcement out, it should roll over to mine. So GeoDNet's making about $5 a day, and coming in tied right now is Chirp. I'm gonna say the price of GeoDNet has not really moved. It's been about 23 cents for about the last month. So it's been holding steady. I wish I could have seen it go up some with this recent with the recent increase in crypto prices over the last couple of days, but not really. It hasn't really done much. Chirp has come up a little bit. You know, they're up 14% in 7 days, which is from 2 cents to 3 cents. 14% sounds more. 33% up. You can see it was at this again 0.2. Now it's up 3 cents. But hey, 33% increase is better than 33% decrease. But again, also I want to say that makes this about a $5 a day. Now again, this is for the Chirp Blackbird miner. They're still arguing and going back and forth on whenever KAGE, the KAGE app is going to give out rewards. I remember them saying they were supposed to reward sometime in the beginning of May, and I haven't seen anything more about that. So I'm kind of stumbling around their Discord and stuff like that. Your snapshot for KAGE, if y'all running KAGE along with me, will be around May 20th. That's when that's going to happen. So if you're hustling, we got to get hustling. There is a pretty decent drop-off, big drop-off between number 1 to 5,000. You know, number 1 is supposed to be looking at getting something like, I got to thank whoever Chip is for figuring this out. You know, so number 1 will be getting close to 7,900 Chirp, which will be about $260 worth of Chirp. You know, how you feel about that? I got mixed feelings, but hey, we knew, and I kept telling everybody over and over, and I was telling them, do not expect a don't expect this big windfall of Chirp for running the KAGE app. They've always said KAGE was a way of trying to get people just a little bit of Chirp, trying to get them in the game when you couldn't get a Blackbird monitor. I just went and made a fool of myself again by telling them again my feelings, because there was this big kind of heated discussion on NFTs, trying to buy the Blackbird monitor. I don't understand why they have to keep going with this NFT debacle. People are buying the NFTs when they become available to get a Blackbird monitor and immediately selling it within 5-10 seconds, hurry up and selling it back on the same NFT platform, hoping people buy them for an additional $250, $300, $400 sometimes, so they can scalp them. NFTs make it easy to do that. Where if you would actually start at this point just selling the miners, then somebody who wants to scalp them has to get the miner in and hope that they can sell it in time. So that's the difference. And I'm very disappointed in Chirp in this, but who am I? Moving on. Next is going to be Junkcoin. Listen, there's a lot of updates going on with Junkcoin. I'm going to tell y'all, I am working on a big video for them. There's a lot of new things that are coming out with them. I have the team contacting me, kind of giving me all the cliff notes and everything that's changing with them. They are going to an NFT that you're going to have to purchase for, you know, like 1.3, 1.4 Solana. And you know, it's up to you how you feel about that. ROI on that could be, you know, you're making a little over $1 a day. So if 1.5 Solana costs you $200, it's going to take you about 200 days. You can buy additional boosters or get additional booster NFTs. I have some myself, and that does boost you up a little bit, which will make your ROI a little bit better. Again, you're going to see a full detail video from me. Hopefully tomorrow I'll have that out. I kind of want their team to kind of look over that, you know, what I'm going to say in that video to make sure I have it all accurate, because I want to bring you all the most accurate information on that. But for right now, you know, we are making $1.10 a day, which is still top 4 of all the projects I'm in. And they've been holding this top 4 spot for a while. So, you know, even though some people have been kind of selling off, they're burning tokens. If you do this pool that they have, extra reward pool, you get a bonus. But then the tokens that you put up to get into this extra reward pool, that gets burned. So they're burning a lot of tokens. They're about to start multi-mining, where you put in You'll be able to multi-mine into a Bitcoin pool that they're going to have in addition to your junk. And if that Bitcoin pool does hit a Bitcoin, they're going to take that money. You know, a Bitcoin is $104,000, and they're going to put that into liquidity into the token, which I think is an awesome idea. So they got a lot of good things, and we're going to go over all that in the video tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. Again, all that can be done on the ESP32 device, where they're also coming out with their own miner also, kind of similar to what Entropy is doing, but they're going to come out with their own miner, and I'm trying to get some information on that also. I'm sure it's going to be something similar to an ESP32 device, and if I have to purchase one, I'll purchase one so I can show that off to y'all. But again, you don't have to worry about taking a picture of your junk anymore, so your wife don't have to worry about you know, hoarding junk and thinking there's something wrong with you. You'll be able just to buy the NFT, buy the miner, and you get back to making $1 something a day, which is, again, for most projects, that's pretty good compared to what some projects are. Weather XM, some mixed feelings on that right now. My station at my office is down. I've been in the Discord getting 0% help from them. I didn't want to, but I'm gonna have to go take it down probably tomorrow when I have a little more time. But I have replaced the batteries in it, but my little device says it can't connect to the station anymore. So I put new batteries in it. It's got the blinking red light. My station just won't pick it up. I didn't want to have to take it off the roof, but I took it off the roof. So, you know, I don't know what's going on with that. I do have a new second Wingbits Weather XM station that I am hosting for somebody. And, you know, we are splitting. We have our agreement worked out. And, you know, it's doing all right. Past month, it is up 22%, which was at 21 cents. Now it's at 26 cents. So, hey, that is a positive that we will take. So one thing they discussed last week was whether XM would dial back buybacks, continue reinforcing long-term WXM. They purchased 262,000 WXM, which is a new cycle in the way with 21,000 WXM, targeting buyback of 40% of daily emissions in the cycle. So, hey, they're buying back, which again, I guess, adding liquidity and that kind of stuff like that. So that is a good thing. Again, I wish I could get my station back online, and all would be right with Weather XM. So our next project, we're gonna have NATIX. I know, don't hurt yourself when you do a double take on this one. NATIX has jumped up. If you look at the ranking on the side, NATIX has jumped up several spots. We got 20,000 NATIX for the month. Now, again, NATIX, I don't really consider passive income because you have to work that device every time you get in the vehicle. You know, make sure it has internet. If you have like I'm using an older cell phone that doesn't have service, so I have to make sure that the Wi-Fi is connected on it. But hey, I made 20,000 for the month of April. Now, we didn't really see that much of a price increase at all with NATIX. It was only up 16%, which is 0.0058 to 0.0007. So you've had a little bit of increase for the week, but for the month, you know, I made $14. So that's what I made for the month with NATIX. But again, you know, I'm working it, and I'm gonna tell you, this month right here, I should do very well. It's gonna be a big measuring stick for me with NATIX. Took a lot of trips, timed my nitro to go along with those trips. If you caught any of my videos last week when I was in Lake Charles for a conference, and then also worked some ham radio several miles away from the place I was staying at. So I worked NATIX like every day. My nitro ends tomorrow. I was hoping to take the day off and go to my hunting camp to do some work and get 2 hours worth of NATIX, but it's not going to work out. So, hey, you know, it is what it is. But I'm still going to end up going to the hunting camp this weekend, which is going to be it's not going to be nitro, so I'm not going to get that bonus, but, you know, the 4X bonus or whatever it is. But, hey, I'm still going to get a 2-hour trip there and back. So, you know, now we'll see what we do for NATIX right now. Again, we're making 46 cents, which in the scheme of things of all these projects we talk about is about halfway. It's not the old Helium days by no means, but for a free project, it could be worse. It has been worse in the past. That's why they've moved up to where they're at now. So that's NATIX. So when you check the announcements page, they have some kind of announcement about the NATIX dashboard and built using Dune and different things like that. They have a partnership with Grab, which is a map making leader and part of Grab Southeast Asia Super app. So hey, that's cool. Shows you they got some business dealings going on. And also they discuss anti-fraud system. You have some people complaining how did they get caught up? And I know in the past I saw in the Discord about people claiming they got caught stealing, frauding. Look, I'm all for it. I don't know how you sit in fraud this goofy app. I don't know if you swing, you put it on the string and you swing it or something. I don't know. I don't know how in the hell you do this. To me, GPS should also know that if you're moving or not. But I hate scammers. I hate scammers. These people that are trying to scam people in my Discord, I wish I could just find them in a dark alley somewhere, and make them come to Jesus. Have a come to Jesus meeting with them. That's me being honest with y'all. Can't stand people that scam and cheat like this. It's a freaking free project. Come on, man. It's disgusting. It's stupid, and I hope they burn in hell. And that's me putting it nicely. So y'all can read all this if y'all want, but that's about it for the announcements for NATIX. But as I said, we are 46 cents. I was quite surprised when I did the math on this and figured this out. So that's NATIX. Moving on is Helium. Helium was over $4 at one point. If any of y'all know what the hell's going on with Helium, please tell me. This was one of my list of ones that even if you're not in the project, you might want to put a little money in. If it goes anywhere close to what it was before, you're looking at if my college math doesn't fail me, 12, I'm going to need a calculator for this one. About a 13x if it goes back to all-time high. I don't ever see it going all-time high. That hype's kind of over with. But even you let this get back to $25, $30, which again, not financial advice, but I can still see it just because it was almost at $10 a little while back. You let this get to $24, $26, that's a 8x, 9x, which is not bad. I'm not buying this because I have 19 to 20 miners that are doing this every day for me. And where in the past, I've told y'all in the past, I have purchased this. I mean, I had sold my H&T or the IoT back then, and I was sitting here just collecting Solana. Now you look at the price of Solana, I'm kind of glad I did. But, and I was also buying some different tokens and stuff like that with it too, whatever I like that week. But now, because I feel so, again, I just put the video out, but because I put out a video on doing this, I have been collecting my Helium every day and keeping that Helium, moving it over to my wallet that I keep all my Helium in, and just collecting it and sitting on it and hodling it. And we'll see what happens with it. So I'm hoping, I do have a good chunk of Helium, a very good chunk of Helium still. And I'm just adding that about 3 or 4 Helium a day, maybe. Don't quote me on that, but about 3 Helium a day at least. Because the problem is I don't collect it every day. So I go to it every 4 or 5 days and I see this bigger chunk. I had like 8 H&T today when I moved it over. So I don't know what I'm really making a day. I don't remember when the last time I even collected it. But I know it's about 39 cents a day per station, somewhere around there. All right, moving on to ERWIN. ERWIN is 13 cents. We making about 38 cents a day with ERWIN. I will say that there are way more boxes being opened. Before I used to complain to y'all that the boxes would go like 5 days with just being burned or not opened or nothing happening. And then when it did open, you had a large amount, but then the token, then your miner wasn't charged, and you were trying, and I still have this complaint that I'm trying to charge it today. It says that I'm not eligible. and by the time tomorrow comes in the next day, when I charge it, I'm not charged. So, of course, when I charge it now I'm charged, but then I missed out on the box because they got so many boxes. They got boxes open every couple of hours now. They're smaller amounts, but there's still several boxes open. So, I'm making when I figured out, I claimed it about 6 days ago. So when I figured out what I made so far, divided by 6 days, it ends up being about 38 cents. Again, that's going to vary a lot each week. I could come back next week and average $1, or I could average 10 cents. It all matters how much the boxes are, that you're getting rewarded, but also matters that people are selling a lot of this ERWIN. That also causes the box to burn and the little kitty cat inside burns. So that's the whole idea and premise behind it. And no real big announcements from them in their Discord either. So moving on. This is where NATIX was. Grass is at $1.53. That price has not really moved at all. They're actually on epoch number 7. So looking in their grass, there's no announcements at all from the team. Again, this is one of the worst projects when it comes to communications at all. I don't understand. There's been one guy sitting in the grass stage voice channel for at least about 2 months now. Nobody's even fishing him out of there. I've always said that their Discord is the Wild Wild West, and I'm reading through it right now, and it's, I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of people complaining in the Discord about disconnects and not being able to stay connected. I'm having the same issue on some of my devices. BitHarvest is still having issues that has not been resolved yet. I'm not 100% happy with that. So you'll know I'm straight and real with y'all. Still support the project, but it's time to get some of their bugs worked out. I think Grass, the browser extension, if you're using the browser extension still, that is down and out. That's not good anymore. So you have to download their app onto your device, which gives you 2x rewards. Y'all know that this supercomputer that I'm on right now, I keep calling my supercomputer because it took me 6 months to build, because I put a lot of top level line stuff in it. And I'm not putting any of that crap on this computer. There are no crypto apps on my main computer here, or the laptop that I use to pay bills, my wife uses to pay bills. No crypto apps. There's no data sharing, goofy apps. None of that stuff is on any of these two computers. I have spare computers that I have VLANs on a separate network that I'm running Grass on, that I'm running Honeygains and Pawns and Curecoin and Pawns Earn app and different things like that, especially my BitHarvest devices. While they might have an issue with Grass, the rest of the projects still work good on them, but Grass seems to be disconnecting a lot from all my other computers. Also, it's been an ongoing issue on and off for a while. Seemed to stabilize out. Now they seem to be having a problem with it again. I know there was an update. I turned auto updates off, and I found when I turned the auto updates off that it solved a lot of these disconnect problems until recently there was an update available. But that's Grass. No talk of when rewards are going to come out. People asking, is Epoch 7 going to be the last one? They're not answering that either. So, we'll see what happens with DIMO. DIMO has had a little bit of an increase. And I'm going to tell you, I have finally, for those who are sick of hearing me cry about it, I have finally ROI'd on my devices. So, we're up 17% in DIMO right now. It's not blowing anybody's socks off. It was 0.7. It was 7 cents last week. It is now 8 cents this week. So, hey, with DIMO, positive price action is good price action, because it has been a free fall for a while. 17% up for the month, but again, as a year, it was at 24 cents beginning of this year. It's at 8 now. So, hey, you let it get back to 24 cents, and I'll love this project, but it's struggling right now. You can look just today where it struggled. It was at 9, almost 10 cents. Now it's at 8 cents. So, that's DIMO. and no real announcements from them at all. Again, I have 5 devices now. 2 of them are given to me by a friend, still in the box. He's like, I'm not dealing with this. I'm not going to make 7 cents a day. So he had got them. They were sitting around his office for a while to put in his personal vehicle and his work vehicle. He owns the business, but he's like, I'm not messing with this. So I did, because of the price increase, I upped a little bit on trying to figure out what a new device will pay. It's hard for me to tell because even though I have 2 new devices, I'm also now staking. I had about, I don't know, 3,000 tokens or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But so I took 500 tokens for each of my 5 DIMO devices, and that gives you another level. Each level gives you better rewards. I also tied my online accounts to each of these, like my wife's Toyota. So you log into the Toyota through the DIMO app, and now that's another level you get. My GMC, my Chevy, each one of those on both those DIMOs, you log into it, and now you're getting another level. So staking gives you another level. A streak of being riding around with this for 5 to 6 weeks gives you a level, and it just builds up. So it's hard for me to say and tell y'all exactly, hey, if y'all want to get into DIMO and this is a new project, what's it gonna pay y'all to get in? I'm kind of assuming it's about 18, 19 cents a day with the price action we have right now. It could be close, but I don't know. But again, for right now, I'm back to no longer ROI on 3 devices. I'm right at $300. So y'all know that. Y'all heard me say this every week. Not December just passed, but this December before that was 17 months ago. I bought these 3 DIMO devices for $89 a piece plus shipping. So it's about $280, $290. So here we are 17 months later, and I finally this week ROI'd on an $89 device. Take that for what it's worth. Moving on. Soarchain. Soarchain's another one that's very hard for me to guesstimate on this one and Silencio is very hard for me to figure out what are you going to make when you start this project. Right now, staking with Soarchain is where it's at. They got phenomenally stupid, crazy, awesome staking rates. 64%, 65% for staking your Soarchain tokens. I'm getting a 1.75 multiplier for staking. And I'm making, don't quote me, I want to say I'm making like, I don't know, 40 something Soarchain a day right now from staking. And I just turn around and restake that. In addition to the 20 or 30 stake tokens I'm getting a day by driving around, but I'm getting more from staking. So you take the 40 something I'm making plus the 30 or so I'm driving. That's like 70 tokens a day with Soarchain. Now the problem is the price sucks so bad. It ain't nothing to get excited over right now, but it's hurting. And I don't know how else to describe it, but it is down 21% for the week. It was at 0.004 earlier in the week. It was at 0.0045 before this big dip today. So you wish you would have saw a little more than that. And it's still down 44%. 44%. What's going on over there? Y'all need to get, something needs to happen. I know what part of it is. Part of it is they took themselves off the CEXs, or they were getting kicked off of MEXC, which is sad. And while I should be sitting there trying to pump this project, y'all know better than that, or I'm not that smart. And I'm honest with y'all. How sad is it when you couldn't keep the liquidity up and you had whatever problems you had, that MEXC, which is if you all remember the TGMI Kmart of CEXs, and y'all couldn't keep it together with them? And then they make it sound like it's the greatest thing in the world that they're going over to DEXs. Soarchain, we know better, brother. We know better. So, we were at 0.006 for a while, and it came tumbling back down. And, it was actually at 0.002 at one point. It's come back up a little bit, but they need some help. Even with them announcing that they're gonna have, you can use your camera now and partnerships, it's not helping. So this was their announcement. Recently they were notified by Mexi that their listing was at the risk of being moved to their assessment zone unless specific criteria trading volume. At one time even DeFi was on Mexi. That's scary when Soarchain's having issues with them. Despite ongoing efforts, meeting these requirements has been challenging. Geographic restrictions, limited organic activity, whatever. This has been the poster child of piss poor token releases. And we joke all the time, Wingbits. If you want to see how not to do it, go follow Soarchain and Silencio. So they want to shift their focus to a DEX first approach, and they try to make it sound like that's a big positive thing. So, and then apparently we're having even shipping issues, which I can't see how many people are buying this right now with this tokens and rewards and stuff. And, I just told you how much I drove nonstop while I was on that work conference last week. And if I didn't leave this phone open on Soarchain the whole time, it would not stay connected. Like I couldn't tell you how many times I had to sit there and I just had to leave this phone on this screen. That was the only way it would stay connected. And that's something wrong with that. And that's the Bluetooth. The Wi-Fi version is just as wonky. Something needs to change with this. I don't know. I don't know if that's part of it, but I expect a way better Soarchain. I know a year ago I pushed this very hard. I don't know. I'll just wish they could get it together. So saving the best for last, not really. Silencio, that raffle ticket catastrophe BS needs to stop. This is why I can't drink before I do this video, because my mouth will get me in trouble. And I just hit 30,000 subscribers. Thank y'all very much. And my mouth will get me in trouble because this raffle ticket is a crap show. That's me putting it PG. It's horrible. Look, y'all tried it. Of course, the kiss butts, kiss asses, like they like it for some reason. I still, again, this is my paranoid. I need to make me an aluminum foil hat. And on these videos every week, I'll either take this hat off and grab my aluminum foil hat and put my aluminum foil hat for my conspiracies. And my conspiracy still is, and this is not just me, this is a couple other YouTuber, types. I still think there's something wonky going on with Silencio. I still say it. I had over 500,000 raffle tickets, and to get what my rewards were, that was pitiful. It was pitiful. I did a full video on it. Go check the video out. I don't want to give too many, things. I need y'all to look at my videos, but it was pitiful. And I'll work the hell out of Silencio. Still working the hell out of Silencio, just with the hope that, hey, it'd be one of those projects that the other people are right and Grumpy's wrong. The people are like, oh, it don't matter if you're only making 2 cents a day, because if the price goes in 15x's from now, just think how much you're making. You're right, and monkeys could fly out of my butt. Asteroid could hit the earth and we'd be dead tomorrow. Who knows? Many things could happen. I don't see Silencio doing that. There's a lot of people accusing Silencio of some really bad stuff. I don't put that much credit into it just yet, because there is not a single fact to back it up. And with the work and the job that I have, I need to see evidence. And people making comments about Silencio just pocketing all the money from these ads, that the ads are nonstop. Again, you can check my video out. I discussed that, but there's more and more and more ads. You could sit there and watch the 3 ads in the beginning of each day, and maybe they'd even do one measurement, and you can keep redoing that ad over and over until you get the 5x or 10x or 15x 20x that you want, and be done with it. And that's just, as long as you keep watching them ads, they're happy. And this just seems to be the ad project now. And you know, and look, I know y'all think I'm way too negative. Hey, I am way too negative, but that's what y'all come to me for. I have an issue with this. Like y'all's project is struggling. People are complaining. Do y'all pay attention to anything, Silencio? Do y'all look at the Twitter? Do y'all look at what the comments are? And what are y'all doing? Y'all talking about dogs and cats and like, what the hell, man? Like, y'all are at a very pivotal point. You and Soarchain, I put y'all pair to, like, y'all need to get it straight, man. Like, look, I'll go put both y'all logos together since y'all can go and sleep together. Y'all had a very loyal following. Y'all still have a loyal following. And I don't expect anybody from either one of these projects to listen to Grumpy with 30,000 subscribers. But listen to everybody else in y'all's Discord that's saying the same thing, other than when they're talking about dogs and cats. Y'all had a loyal following. I pushed both y'all's projects, especially Silencio, a lot. The raffle ticket thing ain't working. Giving people 11 million tokens on a drop, whatever it is, which was like $1,200 worth of tokens, and you give 11 people that, when you could have just took that, 121 million or whatever it was tokens and spread it out to everybody else, probably people wouldn't be as upset as they are. It's just funny that you don't see all of these defenders and stuff in either one of these projects like you did a month ago. All these people who are telling everybody to hold steady and oh, I can't wait for the next raffle ticket drop and all this stuff like that. You don't see that for neither one of these projects. You're averaging 15 and 14 cents a day. How do I know what Silencio is? Because both my kids do it. Me, I can't go off of what my numbers are, because while I am getting 400,000, I am doing 500,000 raffle tickets, 460,000 of those tickets are because I have stuff staked and I have testnet tokens. And I'm an OG, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean. So just think, if I wasn't, did I be making 40,000 raffle tickets? And what would I be getting then? That is sad. And nobody knew it was going to come in this project. Who would come in, knew this project making that little bit? I'm making, my kids both doing this. They do it at school every now and then. They do it with certain places. When we go places, I won't do it, and I'll let them do it so they can get to the venue, or they can get the hexes and stuff like that. Dude, they both average between 12 and 14 cents a day. Maybe a little bit less than that. Soarchain, by the time you figure out what I'm doing without doing a staking, making 15 cents a day. Listen, there's a lot of people that will defend projects when it comes down to that. Oh man, it's still free. Yeah, it's still free. But you can't even go buy a freaking Wendy's or McDonald's value meal with $13 or $12 in some places. And that's what you made for the month with Soarchain and Silencio. That's what I made with Silencio. $13, I think it was, or $12, what I think it was, for a month's worth of work. Where if you would just paid me one Silencio for each reading I did, or whatever you want to call it, ticket or whatever like that, I would have did a lot better. But something's got to change. I think that's enough ranting on both of those. Wingbits, only big news they got from Wingbits is tomorrow is their AMA. I will be on there. So if y'all want to join me, I have 2 different sticky notes on my computer monitors. I have a monitor over here, a monitor over here, reminding me at 10 a.m. my time. That's 10 a.m. Central in the United States. You can check the Discord for your times. I'll be on there. I'm sure actually will be making fun of me for something. But look, I'm holding my breath right now. They wanted the market to go up a little bit before mainnet. Hey, market's up, baby. I'm holding my breath. I'm waiting. It's time to go to TGE. Time to go to mainnet. Look, I don't want to rush it. Again, we see what happens to Soarchain, Silencio, and some of these other ones when you rush a token, generation event, TGE, mainnet. We want CEXs. We want CEXs that in America that you can hit without having to use VPNs, as I'm told by certain people. I don't know nothing about that, but so don't ask. But I'm ready. Listen, I keep telling y'all, I've did several videos on it. I really want to do another video on it. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I'm telling you, every time I talk to people about this, I can't tell y'all how impressed I am with this WB200. This thing is so freaking rugged. I mean, it is solid. Like, I can't get over how solid this thing is. I see people online and Discord talking about like they're trying to hide this, somewhere out the weather and running this cord and stuff like that. Look, I did some testing. Check the videos out. Whoever came up with this TNC connector, I know y'all sick of hearing this, but I gotta say it again. Whoever came up with this TNC connector right now needs a quick kick in the gonads, and I'll be happy to do it for them. I don't know who put TNC on this. That is the only thing. And y'all know me, I can find negativity in everything. When that's the only negative thing I can find on this, some people will complain about the little power cable. Power cable don't bother me. I don't know where I want to stall that yet because there's a part of me. There's a part of me, I like having it right here so I can keep using it as a prop. I'd either go and install it somewhere, but I like this thing. This thing is badass. And look, I know it's easy for me to say that, but this project, I have big, look, I could be wrong. I keep being told to calm my, temper my expectations, but you hear more and more about it. You're seeing more and more on social media about it. More and more industry getting involved with them. I'm very hyped. And then when you see this device and how ruggedly and how good it's made, again, HiFix did a good job so far, at least what I could see, other than the antenna connector. I don't know how much input Wingbits really had as far as the design, or did they just say, hey, we needed to do XYZ. As long as it does XYZ, we don't care if it looks like a flying saucer with a, antenna coming out of its head. But I think this project's gonna be really, really good. I know I never heard this, but several people have told me that they heard Robin say that, the reward should be, hopefully you can get your rewards, your ROI in like 6 to 8 months. Again, I did not hear that. That's just what people have told me that they heard in one of the previous AMAs, and just a rough, this is me. I hate to do any kind of token price prediction. I will not do a price prediction on Wingbits. I haven't to this point. But if you go off of what that wording of 6 or 7 months of ROI and a $400, $500 device, you're looking at about $2 to $3 a day. Again, it all depends on where you're at. Me being on top of a tower, getting 94 hexes, which is a new reward for me. If y'all haven't seen that, my rewards might be a little more than that. People who are in a very, very saturated area and you're getting 20 wings a day, you're going to be a lot less than $2. You can look at the market cap, figure out what all that's going to be, and kind of have a guesstimate of what this token is going to be worth each. So, the best way to find out is let it go. Is let us get to token exchange. I understand that they don't want to release this thing too early, but hey, we're 5 months into the year. At this point, we got to do what we got to do. I know they got somebody, they hired a big tokenomics, especially scientist or something like that, to look at all this algorithm and tokenometry and all this, whatever words I'm trying to make up at the time where I can't think of anything. And they're trying to figure out CEXs and all this stuff like that. But hey, guys, it's been 5 months. Let's go. Let's go. Grumpy's got the tax man. I don't need the IRS man knocking on my door. So we ready. We ready. All right. So moving on. 375 AI bums the word. I don't know if I went over this in my last video, so I'm gonna go over it again. April 29th, they did announce that they were partnering with Peak to build smarter cities. Hey, I'm all for that. Y'all know I have been DCAing in Peak ever since the day it came out. And that's basically because I wanted to get into a new, I kind of felt I missed the boat on Solana and some of these other blockchains and stuff like that. Peak, this is a DPIN channel on YouTube, DPIN Discord. So why wouldn't I get a blockchain that is specifically made for Peak? Hasn't worked out for me quite like that yet. I was buying at 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents, back down to 10 cents now. I DCA'd into it 2 days ago for payday. So I still DCA into it every payday, get a little bit more, stack in my bags. So hopefully 375 AI can build on it. They do have some huge progress from engineering. As you can see, 375 Edge Data Viewer live in Los Angeles. And you can go and take a look at that and see what that's all about with this project. So moving on to that Bit Harvest next. I'm still mining Helium, Wingbits, Kiercoin, Honeygain, Pawns App, Earn App, and then ERWIN if you are messing with them still. Grass is still down and out. This has been 2 months now. I support them guys. I consider them friends. Eric, who's into Bit Harvest, also is one of the mods on my Discord. He's a cool guy. I understand, person in charge that does a lot of stuff has some personal things going on, personal emergencies, family members. Look, understand. I'm always been a family first person. It's been 2 months though, and we need to get this solved, whatever it takes. So hopefully they get this solved. Hopefully he can get these family emergencies squared away for his family, of course, first, and for the project. People paid money to get into this project and expected to be able to mine grass on it. Luckily for me, I'm still mining grass on several computers and several devices in different places. So I'm still making my grass, plus what I made on some referrals. So we'll see. We'll see what that's going to end up being at the end of that grass epoch and stuff like that. But hopefully Bit Harvest can get their act together and turn the corner with that. Wayru and Sourceful. Look, I'd love to sit in. It's like we talk about this every project, every time. Sourceful had Wayru had their TGE and all that stuff. And Wayru, from what I'm told, I wasn't that deep into it because I never got a chance to even finish the license and stuff that I needed to get. But this was their TGE, whatever you want to call it, when they first got released, if this is even accurate, because this shows a 0% volume. I can't believe that's what, now this says 3,000 volume on Radium, but from what this says, 0.002 is where it started out, and it's at 0.008, down 56%. Now, according to this is Deck Screener, but Deck Screener is showing that this actually started out at about a 0.002 cents, and it's, let me see if I can screw this over, 0.008 cents. So it added a 0. So, I mean, it was a little bit lower down here, 0.004, and then it came up, but you look at it, people made a little bit of money off of it. So they must have dumped everything. So those of y'all want to get in Wingbits, y'all know I'm going to shield my code because it does very well for me. Every time I see them talk about it, hey, I get another sell. I did a very big project, a video on it recently on Wingbits and their devices and stuff like that, and it's doing well. So I've kind of beat that dead bush, but I'm gonna keep beating it because I just feel very positive about the project. And again, the one thing I will say about Wingbits, again, I didn't say it during the Wingbits section. I know somebody's gonna tell me something, but if you want to get into Wingbits and you're not into Wingbits yet, please make sure you go to the Wingbits map and check to make sure your area is available. Not just necessarily the little hex where you live at or where you want to put that station, but around there. If you got 5, 10, 15, 20 stations within 100 miles of you, you might want to go look into Wayru or one of these other projects, because Wingbits isn't going to be right for you because it's not going to reward you as much. That's just the deal with that project. So, we'll see. But if y'all need anything with HiFix, anything with Wingbits or GeoDNet or any of that stuff that HiFix sells or Helium deploy, you can use my code and it should help you out. But I got a lot of videos to work on this week. Hopefully now this conference is over with until My son's graduation comes later in the week. I have time to kind of work on all these, and we'll see what happens. So expect some videos. Don't forget, on Thursdays, I do have my live. It's Thursdays at 7 p.m. and y'all can jump in on that. 7 p.m. Central Time in the United States. So that's it. I'm tired. My body's in full rejection after playing volleyball today with those kids, and I'm hurting. So thank you all for watching, and see y'all next video.